Here's our aiExplorer journeying tool. You can see this home, generate, journey, and saved. So I'm just on the home screen here in the workspace. So any project gets saved, I can make a new project. But in this case, I already have a project called Snow. I will bring that up and it goes right to where I last journeyed. And we have a lot of tools. For these, I'll just go to Journey and you can see that I've been working through this. And I started and kept moving through it. At some point, I thought maybe I got to a dead end and was able to go back and forth through the journey and then change it in different ways. So let's look through that. So I'm going to go all the way back to where I started. So I'm in journey mode here. I can see my image. I'm going to click on that. So I'm now looking at my past work. In this case, now I'm in generate mode. I've generated a 5x5, so I can see a lot of changes to this beautiful scenery, orange snow, where I started with this image. So I dragged this image in and started working. Any of these images I can click on to see larger in any way. So with these, I surely then picked the one that I wanted. And I'll show you, I'll go back to journey and show you a little bit about the journey I just took. So I went from the grid span and went a little bit more specific, and I can look at them this way as well too. And I then moved in to this part called creeks here, where I got it in a particular way. At some point, I came back to the grid span and decided I want lakes. So I got this. So I could look at them here, and I see these are more lake-like. Or I could click on this to go back to generate. And I can see in this case, I've moved in a particular way. So I could save my favorites. So I'm doing that here. I could look at my info, and I could do a number of things. Or like we've seen, I could just bring it up. And then we have the main situation here. So here I can, anything I like, I can actually drag in and keep working. And then we have a batch and a grid size. So here we're in batch mode, and we're just making these four. So let's make some live. So this means I can go back and forth. I could label. So I've labeled these lake view, and then I went on to make them more cabin-like. So I decided to bring in a cabin here, and then continue that way in my journey. And then specifically to more tundra looking, I went all the way back to Lakeview just now and decided that I was going to change things a lot. So what I did in my new journey is, I'll bring it up, is I put an abstract wall hanging, and I changed some settings here, and I'm doing a 4x4, and now I have this look, because this surely was not Lakeview. I have my previous session I can see, but I've named this wall texture choice 1 for a client, and specifically that's this one. I thought this one was quite nice. So if I wanted to keep that, this one isn't bad either. In fact, just to show you now, I'll click on this one and bring that in as my current one. So I've now moved that over here. So it's now not going to continue from the other picture, but continue from this one. So I can change my settings here. I'm in batch mode. I'm just making a 4x4. It's actually generating now, so it's going to Stable Diffusion, and I have these choices. I think I want it more vibrant, so I'm not going to say this one. I'll say vibrant, colored, wall hanging in a hallway, and maybe we'll just go with that. And I will label this in hallway and hit the generate button. So there's different speeds. I'm on my home computer, so it's not the fastest. We could put it on the cloud and kind of pick the speed we want. Okay, that definitely got more vibrant. That's pretty good. I kind of like this one a bit, so I can keep moving with this one, but I'm going to go back to my journey here and show you that I've built this through now, and I'm on this generation here. I could call this my favorite, and that gets saved in my favorite pile. So then there's this notion then I could be generating, I could be seeing my journey and then moving back and forth. That everything that I have can be saved. And this is one project, but I could have several projects. I can go through the tools at some point and everything else that can be done. Everything that is here is kind of saved with its numerical value, so we could always kind of move through it again. And in fact, all this is saved outside of the program, so you could deem to figure out what imagery you want to show clients.